Okay, I've put up a couple red-white videos, so this time if I end up in red-white again, I'm just not going to post it. Blue and black seems to be the other archetype that is popular. Red-white aggro is kind of the fast deck, and blue-black is kind of the reaction to that. You don't mind losing your creatures as chump blockers because you just bring them back. Invisible Stalker is really neat. You put an enchantment on him and it sticks. There's like Curiosity is really fun to stick on him, but I'm not sure if he's first pickable or not. I know that Blazing Torch is really good, so I'm going to pick that. That leaves me open. Stitch Drake is really cool. I'll probably pick some of those later if Blazing Torches aren't available. But Blazing Torch I know is going to go in my deck, no matter what I'm running, no matter what colors I am, no matter what theme I am, no matter what archetype, I'm going to have a torch in there. Stitch Drake, on the other hand, I like playing it, but I might not play it. So you just got to watch out for that. Make sure that you keep your options open when you can. And now I got to pick the color. Rooftop Storm is pretty much garbage. 6 mana. By the time you have that much mana out, you're playing most of your zombies already. Scab Goliath. I've said before, it's kind of overkill. 6/9 is huge, but I'd much rather just have a 4/5. The Makeshift Mauler. Getting up to 6 mana is just a whole lot of work for what you're getting. Let's see. So I don't really like him. This is a really weak pack. I don't like a lot of the cards in here. So I'm trying to decide whether I want the equipment, which I don't really. It's kind of expensive. 3 mana is a lot. And you want to be sticking this on your creatures early. So I'm going to pick the solid creature. 3 mana 2/3 is a great body. It's not great. It's just kind of bread and butter. That's going to be going in my deck and just kind of being the ground troop, just the basic thing. And I'll pick up some flashy stuff later. Forbidden Alchemy is also cool. I like that in my deck, but I don't want to be picking that this early. That's just not how that works. So it looks like the blue dried up, so I probably won't be doing that. And I haven't had a chance to play him, so I'm going to pick him. 4 mana 3/3 is pretty bad, especially with double green. But it turns into a 5/5 that can regenerate, and 5/5 is huge. The difference between 5 and 4 in terms of power is a lot bigger than I thought it was. You have the Makeshift Mauler as a 4/5. You've got there's a couple more 4/5 creatures. There's the Geist Catcher's Reapy. That's the other one you're going to see a lot. And so having that 5 power means that you are going to be taking down the usual 4 power creatures that your opponent's going to have. But green in general isn't really good, so I don't expect to be going too heavily into this. If I just end up, just having this, I don't mind changing into another color. So here I got to decide, do I want another Occultist? Cannibals. I'm going to stay away from the mob just because I'm sick of it. It's a great card. If I were trying to compete, I'd probably pick that here. But I just don't want to. I don't want to go into white. So I'm going to pick the Occultist, stick with blue. Village Cannibals is kind of neat. I like it. 3 mana 2/2 is solid, and it just gets bigger occasionally. But black doesn't have a whole lot of humans, so I don't pick it trying to go into humans or something like that. It's just kind of like a bonus that you get occasionally. It's kind of nice. Your opponent's playing a human deck or something. Makeshift Mauler is a really high pick. I really like that card. Chances are you're going to have a creature in the graveyard at pretty much all times, especially if you're in blue, because there's plenty of ways to get creatures in the graveyard with blue. Lots of mill cards, stuff like that. So basically, turn 4 you are dropping the Mauler, unless you've got a really slow deck or something. There's just so many ways to get creatures in the graveyard that Mauler is really good. So now I got to decide what my second color is probably going to be, because I'm probably going to be in blue with these cards. I think that's pretty much pushed me there. I wouldn't mind trying a blue-green deck. That'd be kind of interesting. Ranger's Guile is a neat little combat trick. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't like small buffs in power. I'd much rather have +2/+2 or +3/+3. But it's decent. It's a nice little counter spell in case your opponent tries to hex one of your guys with pacifism or something. Traveler's Amulet, nice fixing. Maybe I'll pick that. That'd be kind of nice to have. Yeah, either that or the Ranger's Guile. Those are my two decisions. And I'm gonna go on the wild side and pick the Ranger's Guile. I didn't even look at the end of the Maw of Hell. 6 mana is just way too much for removal. Even if it is 13 damage, it's pretty impressive, but it's just too expensive. I'd much rather just pay like 1 or 2 mana, chuck it on a creature. Spending an entire turn on something like that, it just doesn't seem worth it to me. Hamlet Captain, solid bear. So it looks like green's a good choice. Either him or the Mulch. Mulch is really nice for filling up the graveyard, and it's also good fixing. You always get a land out of that. Sometimes 2. And drawing 2 lands out of 1 card is really nice. But I'll get those later. I'd much rather have a solid creature base, especially if I'm going to be playing stuff like Makeshift Mauler. I want as many creatures as possible. In this pack, there's that Grave Bramble. I'm still not sold on that one either. 3 mana 3/4 is a solid blocker. You're definitely going to be scaring off aggro decks with it. And protection from zombies is always nice because you've got fatties like the Mauler. But I don't trust it. I don't like defenders. I don't like drafting them whenever I can. Typhoid Rats is neat. That's a much better blocker. I'd much rather have that. Because it can scare off much bigger creatures than most creatures can. Now we're down to the bottom of the pack here. I'm going to pick up the Pitchburn Devils. I probably won't be going into red, but he's a nice body to have. 3 damage. Usually what's going to happen is your opponent's going to have a flyer or something, and you'll just chuck the Pitchburn Devils at it. They'll be forced to block at him at some point or something like that. And the Ancient Grudge made it all the way around. That's good. Same with Naturalize. I'd much rather play the Mystics, so I'm going to go with Naturalize. There are plenty of enchantments in the set. Some of the best removal is enchantments, so having Naturalize around is kind of nice. I'm still not sure if it's going to be main deckable or not, but it's good. I like it. So Travel Preparations, I haven't seen too much white, so I'm not going to pick that. I'll go with Ranger's Guile this time. And that's for tokens. I don't have any token makers, but neither of those are any good, so I might as well just push the green, show that I'm try not to pass any green. Wow, Mulch went late. Okay, I'll grab that, sure. I've seen people trying to play Sensory Deprivation. It's just really bad. I don't like the fact that it doesn't remove the creature. If you have a 4/4 creature and stick it on it, it just makes it weaker. And it's not even that much weaker. It's just a little bit. It takes a little bit off the power. Here we have a whole lot of red, and I don't have a use for a Brimstone Volley, really. I'd much rather just have the Blazing Torch, which I know I'll use. Brimstone Volley, the guy downstream for me is going to be happy he's got, but I just don't want it. I don't want to have to manage the mana to splash, especially if Pitchburn Devils is the only other thing in red I've got. So with blue-green, I guess what I'm going to try to do is kind of have as many solid bears as possible. Kind of really good green beat-down creatures. That's what green does really well. Just solid, dumb guys that smash face. And the problem with the Moldgraph monstrosity is that it's too expensive. I don't think I can handle it in this format. It'd be nice if I could. I really like playing things 8+ power, but it's just not going to work. Galvanic Juggernaut is a much better card. He always gets to attack once, so 5 damage right there. And if your opponent throws a chump blocker, your opponent really can't throw a chump blocker in front of it because then the Juggernaut untaps and swings in again. So usually it's just a really good card to have in your deck. If you're playing the blue-black control, you'll have plenty of fuel for it. If you're playing the red-white aggressive deck, you don't really care if you have fuel for it or not because you just want to send it in once. And holy cow, that's a lot of red. Maybe I should start going into this color. I shouldn't be seeing a Brimstone Volley this late. That sucks. Maybe a green-red deck is what I'm looking at. Now I gotta decide on a color, I'm not sure. I'll pick up the Volley. Dead weight, I've said before, not very great. I think if you're playing in this set, you kind of want your removal to either not send it to a graveyard or have some sort of double purpose. Brimstone Volley has that double purpose. You can either use it on your opponent's creatures and to kill them, obviously, or you can throw it at their face for 5 damage, and neither of those are irrelevant. And so there's that Stitch Drake. Moon Heron, I'm not a big fan of anymore. It used to be really good in most sets. Having 3 power in the sky is really nice. But in this format, there's just a whole bunch of 2-power flyers, and there's also the white spirit tokens that get made all the time. So usually Moon Heron can't attack profitably. It's just not tough enough. And so he just kind of sits back and watches, and you want your flyers to be beating. Stitch Drake, on the other hand, has got nice fat ass there. 4 toughness is really nice to have. Spirit tokens can't really gang up on it anymore, and most of the flyers are like 2/2s, 2/3s, 2/1 first strike, so he survives all that. You still have to worry about the 4/4 dragons and stuff, but your commons shouldn't be dealing with those anyway. This pack, I'm not looking at any good blue or green, so I'm just going to pick the Night Revelers. They're a solid body. Alright. That's the black-green one. I don't have any black that I want to splash, really. Typhoid Grass is nice, but only in a black deck. So I think I'm going to grab the Mulch. It's good fixing. Kindercatch I've been disappointed with. 6 mana for 6/6. Just hasn't gotten me there. Let's see. Travel Preparations I like, but I'm not going into white. So I'm just going to be casting that once, and that's just not worth it. Yeah, it looks like I'm seeing a whole lot of red here. I'm going to try the Rage Thrower. Maybe him and the Pitchburn Devils will be able to just burn my opponent in death. That'd be kind of interesting. I haven't seen a deck try that yet. I probably won't end up in red. This is just pack 2. It'll probably go back to the regular colors in pack 3. Or at least I hope so, because I'm kind of split even between these 3 colors. And the Harvest Pyre isn't helping, because I have to pick that. Especially if I'm running cards like Mulch. Night Revelers would be a solid pick, but I've kind of already got them. And I've got a Galvanic Juggernaut at the top of my curve anyway. Galvanic Juggernaut, and the Pitchburn Devils and Rage Thrower aren't exactly cheap either. So I'm not too worried about getting the expensive guys. It's more the 2 and 3 drops that I want right now. Jesus Christ. Okay. Yeah, I guess I might be going into red if I keep getting past this kind of stuff. I'm getting cut hard on my blue. It's either that or the Fur, and I didn't get the Invisible Stalker, so I don't really want it that bad. Rolling Templar isn't irrelevant, but most of the 2 toughness creatures are flying, so you don't usually use it. And there's another Harvest Pyre. Woodland Sleuth I'd pick, but I don't trust myself to get Morbid as much as I want. I'm much more certain that I'm going to be getting Mulches to fuel my Pyres, so I'm going to pick those up. And they are solid burn for what you're paying. 2 mana isn't that bad. I'm just going to hate draft the Chapelgeist here, because that definitely shouldn't be going that late. That's basically the bread and butter of your white-red aggro, and I don't want my opponent getting that. Yeah, Trader's Blood's the only thing playable here. Maybe I'm looking at a red-green beats deck. That'd be interesting. I haven't tried that yet. So basically, I guess what I'm looking at is try to pick up just creatures like Festerhide Borer. I think that might actually fit in this deck because you're going to be attacking enough that you'll get Morbid, and having that 5 power will be nice. I guess I'm pretty certain about the red, so maybe I should pick up the Geist Flame. There's usually enough targets for it. You have stuff like you've got a whole bunch of 1 toughness creatures that you can usually get a 2-for-1 out of it because you flash it back, and it's also an instant, so you can just tack on that extra damage when you need it. Oh, there's another Mauler. Now I'm not getting past any green, so maybe it's red, blue. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Yeah, I gotta pick up the Mauler. It's just too good. These cards are pretty much jank. Kindercat's pretty much crap. Dissipate, way too expensive. I've seen people play it, and you pretty much have to devote an entire turn to countering what your opponent plays. And if you don't know what your opponent's going to play, it just doesn't seem worth it anymore to skip that turn, because it's entirely possible that they won't play anything that you want to counter. Well, I'd like to go for the Ashmouth Hound into the Geist Flame since I've got so much red now. But I'd also like to kind of figure out what my second color is. And Spectral Flight is a really great blue card, especially if you've got cards like Makeshift Mauler that can get really big if you give them flying. Demon Male Halberg is also kind of cool if you've got stuff to sacrifice. I don't really have that much that I want to do that with yet, though. So I think I'm going to go with the Ashmouth Hound, just to fill up my deck with more creatures. And it looks like I'm looking at red-green because the Ambush Viper I think is the pick here. I've got 2 Harvest Pyres, and I think that's enough. If I draw multiples, I don't think I'll have enough in the graveyard to make them work. So I'm going to go with the Viper. And I'll probably get past this kind of stuff later, the Harvest Pyre. I mean, most people don't like using them. Oh, yes. Yes, I like that. Value. 4 mana for 2 cards. I like that. Maybe I'll bring back the Harvest Pyres. Who knows? Think Twice is also really good, though. I wouldn't mind having that if I had decided on blue. Maybe I will slash blue. I've got the Mulches to kind of fix the mana. Did I? No, I didn't pick up a Traveler's Amulet. Maybe I'll get one of those later. I don't know. Alright, so here I'm going to want to either pick the Equipment or the Spider. Those are my 2 top picks here. I want to stick with green as far as I can here. Think Twice would be really nice, but I'm going to try to stay away from blue if I can, just to give my deck some consistency. I've got a whole lot of high mana creatures, though, so I'm kind of worried about that. But I don't really have any other options, so I'm going to just pick it. And Fixing. I'm picking that up. I want Fixing, because I would like to play those Maulers if I can. Maybe even the Occultists. Yeah, I'm looking at a really interesting deck here. I haven't played this yet. Red-green. So let's see, I'm definitely going to want a lot of creatures to fuel Morbid, because green wants that Zomberwald Spider to get big. But I also want kind of that top end of the curve too. I guess I can get a third Mulch, either that or the Spider spawning. I don't really have too many creatures, though. I've got a whole lot of sorceries and instants. And that buffs humans and werewolves. I don't have too many of those. I'm not sure about this having 3 Mulches in my deck. I don't want to mill too much. don't want to throw away some of my good cards. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could pick that. It's either that, or the wings, or the spawning. And I don't trust the spider spawning. Let's see, what would I want to give flying to? I don't really have anything I'd want to give flying to. I guess it'd be nice for defense, since I don't have too much reach. And I might as well pick up the Kindercatch now. I mean, nothing else here is going to be useful. Maybe I should play the Kindercatch. I don't really have very solid creatures here. I've got kind of the bear. I've got him. Even he's pretty fragile. I mean, most of the time he's going to be a 3/3. I'm going to hate draft the Urgent Exorcism, because I've already got a Naturalize and I'll pick up another Naturalize. What the heck? And there I'm picking up the other red card. So when I build this deck, I'm going to put in the creatures first to make sure that I have that as a basis, and then I'm going to put in some of the other spells to cover them second, after I'm sure that I have all the creatures I want in the deck. So let's see, I'll cover up the blue for now. Maybe I'll go back over that in my second run through it. So first, I'm getting all the creatures I want in. Make sure that I have a nice base. I'm putting in a lot of stuff that I really don't like playing. I really don't like the Rage Thrower, but it's going in. Same with the Pitchburn Devils. I don't like playing them, but in this deck I kind of need them, because I only have 10 creatures, and I'd much rather have a whole lot more. And okay, so I want the Blazing Torches in, definitely. I always want those. Brimstone Volley is definitely going in. And I guess if I'm going to run 3 Mulches into 3 Mulch, then I can run the Harvest Pyres and the Geist Flame. I might mill one of those into the graveyard and then flash it back. That'd be kind of cool. And I probably won't main deck the Ancient Grudge. I'll main deck a Naturalize. And I'll sideboard the other one in if it ends up working. And I'm definitely going to be mulching a whole lot, so Make-A-Wish is good. Gnaw To The Bone. I'm trying to think, is that good? Probably not. I'll try one of the Ranger Styles. How's my curve looking? Yeah, it's pretty steep. So I think I'll go with 23 lands. Well, most of my curve is kind of at the top, but I've got the Mulch and the early creatures that I might not need to go with 23, but I will. So I'll try it this way and see if I get flooded. Maybe late game I won't want so many creatures. Now looking at the color balance, I've got pretty much even, a little bit more green. I've got the double green for the Mystics and the triple green for the Kindercatch, so I'm going to put a bit more green in this deck. 9 forests and 8 mountains, I guess. Maybe 10 and 7. Let's see, how much double cost do I have? Yeah. It's just that one Crossway Vampire, and I don't mind waiting for that. And I'll put a little bit of that in. I would have liked to run the Makeshift Maulers, but this deck is kind of going to be pretty inconsistent already, and I'm kind of short on creatures, so the Mauler is going to be kind of hard to work. So we'll see how that works. I'll post the results on the draft video description below this video. I tried posting the video of the actual game, but the quality of YouTube is just not good. So you couldn't really see any of the cards, what was going on, that kind of thing. So I guess you'll just have to go by my stories that I tell. So yeah, see you next week.